Welcome to Comics with Dan. Yeah, I was just looking for a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a while. He was in Absolute Power a little bit, but other than that, I haven't really seen him much. His name's Arthur. But really, ever since the announcement of the Justice League Unlimited roster, I kind of have been wondering, where is Aquaman? Aquaman has always had sort of a rocky publication history. Arthur Curry as Aquaman first appeared in More Fun Comics number 73 in 1941. This was technically the Earth 2 version, and while Earth 2 Aquaman made a lot of appearances in Adventure Comics, the current Prime Earth version of Aquaman appeared in Adventure Comics number 229 in 1956. Aquaman was a mainstay in Adventure Comics for several years before getting his own series in 1962. Between the solo series and Adventure Comics, Arthur had fairly consistent appearances until 1971, when he had a 3-year hiatus before returning to Adventure Comics, and subsequently the short-lived return of his solo series. The 80s were filled with limited series for Aquaman, and his longest running and possibly his most well-renowned solo series came in 1994 with Peter David. He had a 2003 to 2006 series, a New 52 series in 2011, famously penned by Jeff Johns, and a Rebirth series kicked off by Dan Abnett in 2016, which ended in 2020. He has been in Aquaman training Jackson Hyde and appeared in his own story in Lazarus Planet, We Once Were Gods, written by Francis Manapul. This is where I'd like our story to pick up. At the end of this story, the last panel says, "To be continued in Dawn of DC," signaling that Aquaman would be getting a Dawn of DC book. Manapul had long been attached to an Aquaman Earth 1 graphic novel at this point. That was in January of last year, and so not only were we almost closing in on 2 years since that happened, but since the October books have been solicited and Absolute Power is the end of the Dawn of DC as we know it, it's safe to say that we're not going to be getting that Dawn of DC Aquaman book. My theory is this. Francis Manapul wrote the Lazarus Planet story. He then went exclusive with Jeff Johns at Ghost Machine, the Image Comics imprint that he co-founded and is a co-owner of with Johns. This caused the potential project to be dead on arrival. So the Lazarus Planet story and Dawn of DC sort of commingled and sort of were at the same time. It was January 2023, immediately following Dark Crisis, which ended in December of 22, Dawn of DC started, so it would have been the perfect time to launch that Aquaman book. Another theory that I have is that when Manapul decided to join and create Ghost Machine with Jeff Johns, that he was still planning on doing the Aquaman book, but then the decision was made that all the creators at Ghost Machine would be exclusive to Ghost Machine. So then that's what got the project nixed. Jeff Johns was working through the early stages of forming Ghost Machine in 2021 following the success of Geiger, so this really does line up with that thinking. So to be clear, this is all speculation. I have nothing from Francis Manapul, who I reached out to for comment, and he didn't respond. Even if I knew any of this for fact, I wouldn't blame Francis Manapul for going to Ghost Machine. I think it's a lot of creators' dreams to be able to create the books that they want. So leaving the big two for an imprint that's going to allow you to have a little bit more freedom than you would at DC or Marvel, I don't blame him in the least. All that being said, that only explains why Aquaman hasn't been around. I understand not wanting to start an Aquaman book halfway through Dawn of DC, especially if they knew that the DC All-In Initiative, or whatever they were calling it at the time, was coming. I understand that. I understand not wanting to start that and then have to sort of reboot it right away. But the question is, why doesn't Aquaman have a DC All-In book? Why doesn't Aquaman have an Absolute Aquaman book? And I have a great idea for an Absolute Aquaman book where Aquaman is born into an impoverished group rather than the royalty of Atlantis, and has to be sort of the leader of a resistance with his brother Orm and take down a corrupt Atlantean monarchy, and even possibly have David Hyde, also known as Black Manta, sort of reluctantly help him, having been Arthur's sort of childhood rival. I think that could be really cool. So DC, you know where I'm at if you want me to write that. Anyway, I can see that Aquaman is at least present in absolute power, even though no one knows where he's been for the last year or so. And he got a little bit more dialogue in issue 2 than he did in issue 1. But it almost feels like DC is just patronizing us, kind of dangling him in front of us, saying, we know that he exists, but we don't want to give him a book of his own. Why not, DC? Give Aquaman a book. Even today, Cassandra Cain and The Question each got their own DC All-In book, but still no book for Aquaman. Please, I just want to know, where is Aquaman? Make sure you like the video, make sure that you subscribe, check out my other videos here, and thank you for watching.